Welcome to the NFT Podcast 101 that is from Axel and Hyton. So, who are you and where are you based now?
Hi, thank you first of all for inviting us.
Thank you so much.
It's again a very exciting thing within the NFT world that we're happy to participate. So we are now located in Brussels, Belgium. I'm from here, and he's from Barcelona, Spain. Yeah, we
Cool.
basically quarantine together. That's why we're in Brussels.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You're in a good company and creating art. And yeah, so
Why?
talk
Yeah, definitely.
so talking about art. What's your story with 101 and what's your story in art in general?
Go
Um,
for it.
We have both different stories when it comes to being introduced to art. We both have been doing art since a long time in our lives. I went to university to study painting, so I have kind of a well, not a classical background, but physical background, physical arts. Before I got into digital arts. Well, that
Yeah, well, mine is more like yours, but in a continuity. And what I mean by that is like basically, until I met her, I never really interact or experiment with digital art. I thought that it's kind of like an easy way of making art because I'm more used to do like realism
yeah,
and
you were looking down on digital art.
kind of in the beginning because
Yeah.
I was not seeing the complexity as, for example, I was having when I was making like 1 meter 90 centimeters canvas or big pieces that you have to craft with your own hands from zero, from scratch.
Yeah.
And on the contrary, in digital art is a bit the process is faster, which is
But
also pleasing. But I was not seeing the value in it.
yeah, yeah, the possibilities are limitless actually.
Definitely,
That's
definitely.
what you found out.
Yeah, the palette of colors, the materials, the textures, everything is in one device.
And it goes faster.
Definitely,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
So
yeah,
like
like we've been doing well. Sorry to interrupt you.
no,
I'm
no
also a
problem,
bit
of
nervous.
course. You are the guest, so I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I've been doing the collages. So if you go to our Instagram page, you will see the collages, which I've been doing since 2 years now. But it was not up until right before we launched our first NFT that you told me to animate them, and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that seems
definitely.
too much because I'm afraid when it comes to programming, like everything digital, I'm a bit afraid. Once I get into my comfort zone, I like to stay there, but it turned out really great and it inspired us to actually drop the collages because they're so much more elevated now that they have a yes movement.
Yeah, and even to push a bit the boundaries of what we conceive as possible as artists and what we conceive um, as a limitation. You know, like for example, I was using for first time Procreate, and I was like, whoa, I kind of like feel like I can only do one or two or three things as that much. But then you start to see other programs like Cinema 4D, Blender. You also have Photoshop, you have Pixel, like loads of different softwares that allows you to interact with art in a different way.
Yeah.
And also, it's a release to see how all those tools helps you to improve as an artist.
Amazing, because you are learning so fast, it seems. And so I want to
Mhm.
ask you one question that I could have asked to every digital artist in this podcast, but I never asked. That is, how did you learn all this material? So by YouTube, by making some specific courses. You say that you Excel say that you learn at university, but what was like your process of learning all these skills and all this software that now you use for your artworks?
Well, to me, it goes back to my last year of university when I started using Photoshop and Illustrator. But funny story is that my teachers didn't like my work, so I had to redo my last year, which was
No.
a lot of fun. But
And now
yeah,
you're
that was
making money with NFTs.
yeah. And that's also the thing. My attitude was always like, they like my teachers are not gonna make me rich in terms of speaking. So I valued their opinion, but more in a way of like, okay, it's good, and I just do my thing. So yeah, Illustrator and Photoshop were the first steps into the digital world, and then Procreate, which is actually my favorite program. It's easygoing, it's straightforward, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do on like that you can create on
And it
Procreate.
works so smooth on the tablet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an amazing tool.
Especially with the pen. I love the pen.
It's amazing.
My first collages I created with my fingers, so I was still finger drawing on my tablet.
Definitely. And so you learn with Procreate through YouTube, I imagine, like the University of YouTube.
Pretty much. Google is actually the university of anything you want to learn if you are open to invest your time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty much what we do every day. We wake up pretty early, like 6 a.m., and then we start to do some market research to understand how things are going, where things are moving, and then we see also how to improve our skills. Definitely, like otherwise you perish because you
have to stay up to date.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very competitive market and world.
Definitely, yes. So, because you are the first couple in this podcast, I would love to ask you one question: like, how is working together, and which are the pros and the cons of like creating art together, and if you take inspiration one from one another?
Well, up until now, we mostly created separately. We produce art under the name Oneoone because it's just our artist collective name. But as time passes, we're more and more interacting with each other's art as well. We just had a collaboration for Bingus Token, which is a collaboration also with an influencer. So it was really the challenge to make one piece together. And it came out really well. It will be posted in the near future. We don't have the exact date yet, but it's a really nice piece. So I think we're gonna start to do that more and more, getting to know each other's style and interact with that.
Yeah. Until now, we never had not the chance, but we never really took the time to do a piece together. But we always had this, like, constant conversation where we always give the feedback of what we think that can be improved.
Yeah.
We balance really good each other, like her color perception and understanding of abstracts is really, really open-minded to me as an artist because I'm a bit more stubborn and classic. So yeah, I think that we really complement each other really good. And now with the pass of time, because it's all about exercising the action, the action of cooperating. With the pass of time, we getting better and better. In the beginning, there were like some different opinions. They will always be different opinions because we have different perceptions about art and how it can be expressed. But now we're getting in this point where our conversation bring us to a good result, to an evolution, to a progress.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm grateful for that. Because
Amazing.
for me as an artist, if it wasn't for her, I would probably still stuck on the old ways.
Yeah.
She basically upgraded myself, so I'm grateful for that.
She's the muse. She's the inspiration muse, of course, for you. No, it's very very interesting to hear this because you say you know each other better thanks to art that you do together, and you say that also your day-to-day conversation, like it seems like you are not really working, but because you are sharing so much inspiration, so much details of what you do, that it becomes part of the creating process itself. So that's powerful. And
yeah, in that way also the lockdown has been a gift to us because the fact like we work really good in the same space, like we don't have any awkwardness. So if there's something we were very honest towards each other, and it also was an extra drive in the creative process just because you cannot leave the house.
Yeah, it was the suppression of all those distractions that actually absorb you from what really matters in life and consumes a lot of your focusness and attention and lifetime. And once all those distractions were eradicated from our lifetime, we just had time to think about what should be done to get better in life, not just as a couple, but as an individual.
Yeah.
Of course. And then one day NFT arrives and they ruin the piece of
Pretty much.
everything.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing. Because, well, since we started the idea of 101, we have been touching different fields of art. Like, for example, we did jewelry. We did. Well, he's a tattoo artist, so we started to think about projects. We do some like culinary art. We love to cook, and so we have been thinking about what can we do to express ourselves,
Fashion as well.
fashion as well, and also to become self-sufficient artists actually, because we want to be able to spend time together and we want to be able to create in that time together. So I forgot my point. Wow.
but no problem, like, because anyway I was about to ask you about your heart because I really love your pieces, guys. So I'm very interested in like know what's your inspiration behind these pieces and if there are any differences between, because I'm seeing your profile now and I'm not really sure that I can say, oh, this is from Axel, this is from Harton. So
That's
what's your
good.
inspiration in your artwork?
Um, for the collages, I draw my inspiration from female characters. I always use the female character as a protagonist, to create these alternate realities, these different planets where there's a scene with feminine power. I take the characters from Art Nouveau or Art Deco or fantasy art, so it
Or
really,
imaginary, because you
yeah,
lately been drawing from the mind.
yeah, and also pictures. Yeah,
Picture as well.
real life
Photography
pictures.
is
Yeah,
a huge fount of inspiration.
yeah, yeah. It's really my goal to create an alternate reality where just female reign. Whereas you are much more. I'm more for the aesthetics, and he's much more into the conceptual and yeah, realistic still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like my art is more conceptual than realistic, and I'm always relying on human behavior and its narratives through history, like why we do what we do, where we come from, where we're going, and why, like for example, as Nietzsche says in The Eternal Return, why we tend to repeat the same mistakes. I try to give voice to those events and at the same time make it eye pleasant.
Yeah.
So you've got a message behind your heart, and it's a different
Mm-hmm.
message, one from Excel, one from Python. And do you think that NFTs, in terms of community building, in terms of brand building, in terms of giving value, adding a layer of value to what you do you think that they can help you in some ways in spreading your message around artist community?
I would say that I definitely think that NFT is a great way, not just for artists, let's say any good commodities, product, or service to be offered while you share it and you trade it. I mean, you basically protecting your intellectual property. And the wonderful thing is that this intellectual property, which is super secure through this final proof of ownership, allows you to engage with a new audience and to build a new type of brand loyalty. It's more human, more organic, because yes or yes, you have to interact with the people. It's not like you have a store and people randomly come and they get their things. No, you have to build it from zero, from scratch. So you have to yes or yes go to all those chat rooms, go outside, be loud, show yourself, show your work, and at the same time be genuine. It sounds so topic, but it's hard. It's hard work actually.
It is, because I personally do not really like it. You're way better in that, like talking
I
and
work more on that. Yeah.
yeah, promoting. It's a hard work.
It's definitely. I never thought it would be like this.
Wow.
So it's not just creating, it's of course another half for promoting and for marketing and everything
Branding, yeah.
related, yes. And I'm curious because you are using different platforms for promoting your NFTs, and there are two of them that I'm not really aware of. That is cryptoart.ai and Satoshi Art. Do you want to talk me more about these platforms and why you choose it, especially cryptoart.ai, because I saw that it's an Asian platform.
Yes, it's an Asian market. They actually approached us a few months ago, um, where after we submitted our artwork, but their platform was or is still small. Actually, I think they had at that time
300 artists.
300 artists. So they were very responsive and active, and also through their social media, they were immediately replying.
Really kind, really sweet people.
Yeah. So, and since it's the major Asian market in NFTs, to us it was also, well, it's interesting.
It's fascinating to see how things work in a different continent. It seems to be so close, but actually so far, and things work in a different way.
Yeah, and it's more efficient. I mean, even when it comes to cryptocurrencies, Asian markets are leaders actually.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And about features like gas fees and every other features that can help you as an artist, do you find better like with cryptoart.ai, or are you good anyway with Rarible and Foundation, that the other platform that you use?
It's a good question actually, because gas fees will always be kind of the same in all the platforms.
Yeah.
The difference is just the commissions they charge. But I think that, well, the most expensive experience that we ever had with the issue of gas fees,
Foundation.
Foundation,
Foundation.
like $400 was minting one NFT.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
that
very
was a big-
expensive Foundation, you say. You don't advise Foundation if you want to mint multiple NFTs, but I think that the
In that
gas
moment
price.
was painful.
Yeah.
I think now we are actually more planning to go through Opensea, because it's a more open market, because we also encountered somebody that wanted to buy our work,
Mhm.
but not through cryptoart.ai, because it was less accessible for the collector. So in terms of also when thinking about the collector, I think OpenSea is now the
Yeah, more
platform that
engageable.
we're gonna try it out more.
Plus, we heard that apparently once you mint the first project or the first piece, the second one is the gas fee is reduced or almost free. So we want to experience a bit with that, because the main goal of One is also to become self-sustainable, not as individual, but the project itself. Because if being an NFT creator, let's face it, is it's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
When you're into cryptocurrencies and you have a bit of like this and that on the side, it's more accessible than, for example, an artist who doesn't know anything about cryptocurrencies and is like, wow, I have to pay $200 to just post my work.
Yeah, plus the gas fees to just move your money from some exchanger to your your MetaMask.
To get your money.
Like, you actually waste more. Well, no, you lose more money actually moving your money to work with it than posting than posting your piece.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so you say that as an artist, I cannot just leverage on my artistic knowledge and I cannot just think about posting, but I've got basically two choices. I can have a manager that can do this work for me, or of course, as you're saying, your advice is learn more about the tech side, learn more about blockchain and cryptos, because it will be very helpful, because there are so many platforms now. You can choose the one that fits
Definitely.
better with you. And how do you educate yourself in this other part of this artistic business that now you are running? Because it's not just art anymore. You need to educate yourself more. What do you do?
Well, you can say it.
Daily news.
Yeah, like for example, we personally, I trade on the crypto market. So for me, it was always kind of like something that was destined to be together. And as you said, being an NFT artist is not just being a creator.
Mm-hmm.
You actually have to educate yourself in many different fields, and really deep. Like, you really have to understand what you're doing, because their responsibility is on you and only you. If you fuck it up, you lose your money, and you have nobody to blame apart of your own self. So yeah, I tend to go to Reddit, to Twitter, I go to YouTube, to Google, I go to CoinGecko, I go to CoinMarketCap, to Cointelegraph, and loads of different websites where they are constantly posting and sharing information about the crypto world and what's happening, not just, for example, in Europe, but in Asia, in Africa, which is a very interesting point now, especially with Cardano, for example, and the United States, and South America as well.
Yeah.
So mainly internet, but
Well,
mainly for me personally, Cointelegraph. It's a really, really unreliable platform.
Amazing.
yeah.
So you say that thanks to NFTs, you can connect more these two sides of your life, this trading and artist, because now like the knowledge of one goes into the other one. So this is not financial advice, of course, but you say that trading is more sustainable with NFTs and art together.
Both like for us, thanks to the trading, NFT became a bit more sustainable because we basically don't have to use our fiat money. We create money. We basically leverage our portfolio, and every time we have a chance, we take some fractions and we send it to our MetaMask. And when the time is right, we just use it and
Yeah.
we work it.
Yeah.
And all the benefit we get, we keep it there to let the business to bring scalability to the business, which is the main thing. Our brand is not just to make money, but because I think that we both think that NFTs it's a historical time. Things are changing so fast.
Yeah.
We are in the verge of a new era.
Yeah, and the pandemic only made it go faster, actually.
Definitely, and I see this as a way of contributing to this new concept of culture. This is about culture, enriching the culture, and one stands up to enrich this social movement, to help people to understand.
Yeah, to contribute our part, not only as artists, but just to be involved in the movement, which is NFT going hand in hand with cryptos.
Yeah, and the world changing because of that.
Yeah, because of that.
And so, of course, you see that there was this explosion now, and I feel like also we are all part of something that's moving. And this is why I'm interested in finance, because it really makes me feel that I am not just reading news, but I am in the news. Like I can every day contribute or like learn at the same moment for this moving ecosystem, and this is very exciting. But about NFTs and art, especially in respect to March 2021, respect on February, do you see a downtrend in like the attention that you receive, or anyway you are having like your community, your audience at the same time?
But it's a daily work, like literally a daily work. And we're actually now taking a more of a break from the social medias to prepare new work, because sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming constantly juggling the two. Well, and when it comes to communities, the Twitter community, for example, and the Discord is much more responsive and active than the Instagram. I do more the Instagram, but I feel that Instagram and NFTs, it's good for promoting, but it's not as
It's more a trend.
yeah, it's more, and Instagram is more made for
So it's more
fashion.
just for showcasing and like for but it's not real value for you as an artist as much as you can engage and network through Discord and Twitter. This is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely in Discord, and personally in Discord and Twitter, for me, it's very like it enriched myself and our project and our couple, because the relationships I build there, the people I get to know, I meet, I interact with, and I have conversations. It's really into not just NFT, as you said, into finance, into geopolitics, into cryptocurrencies, into technology development, and in the end, NFTs is it's more than NFTs. Is a smart contract, has no shape, can be anything. And the better you understand this technology, the better you will be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, to play with this.
Yeah, and to project yourself in the future.
Yeah.
Yes, please tell me more about NFTs as smart contract and why it's important, of course, because NFTs are smart contract. And so let's talk about this side.
Shall we or go for
Yeah, you're the technical.
I personally see smart contracts and NFT getting in any goods, commodity, product, or service offers. Is any crypto asset or any asset in general, I think, will sooner or later interact with the technology that blockchain is offering. And yes or yes, smart contracts are going to be a crucial, vital, and active part of our lives, since buying art, which allows you to show the real and legitimate ownership of that asset, to even like now today we were reading that the main football team of Croatia was
No,
selling
Ukraine.
Ukraine. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Ukraine was selling the football event tickets as an NFT
Yeah, as well as all these big rappers wanting to release an album as an NFT,
as well. As well,
stuff like that.
real estate, like we have, for example, the twins Tunkables with Gemini, with Nifty, that they are now partnership with the Sandbox,
Yeah.
and they bring in the real estate there to what was before conceptualized as a digital land that was worthless. Now, like from in a time frame of 6 months, it went from 2Ks to almost 100Ks. So, I mean, it's more than obvious that the world is changing, and NFTs is a big part and influence in this change.
Hmm.
It's just the final shield to your intellectual property. Doesn't matter what you do. If you want to protect your product, service, your goods, your commodities, whatever you do, you need a smart contract to be able to not just share, but to trade. Because we want to have a fair and healthy economy. It has been proved that the classic way doesn't work.
No.
Definitely. And is there a specific project that you are seeing now in the NFT space, or that you think is going to emerge in this year, that you are very excited about because you say this is the way smart contracts should be used?
We really happy. We cannot say it too loud because it's still on the table, on the discussion. But we lately interact with a friend of mine that is from Catalonia. He's a professor in the Department of Blockchain Development in the University of Catalonia in Barcelona. He is into shoes in the shoes market,
Hmm.
and they willing to combine 3D prints. They have partnerships, like for example with Adidas. They are foot wearable lab. That's the name,
Yeah.
and they have partnership with Adidas, HP, AT Tech, and etc. And basically, what they willing to bring to the market, and we helping them, and we will help them, and we are cooperating to find the best way, is how to not just offer, but how to present a new way of interacting with fashion. Like you have these domains on the Web3, where you kind of like can create a model not just of your body but your shoe. If you are supinador, pronador, you can create a 3D shoe from your house.
Yeah, they will be 3D printed.
Yeah, it has to be. Or you can go to the place and do it there.
Yeah.
But you can purchase it as an NFT.
Yeah, so you can have the 2D and the 3D, the real shoe, the NFT as
Yeah,
a
the
2D.
physical and digital asset. You can wear the physical, which is the shoes, and you can trade, or
Yeah.
you can have access to special events. Like for example, they will have master class about how to craft with this technology, how to, for example, offer your services as a creator for those companies. And for us, this is amazing. This is a great opportunity. We, as you said, we kind of like being part of the change, and we working to really. This is like becoming a legend in the future, not a legend, but being part of history. And
It
that's what now we have the chance, and we're excited to have this opportunity and this project to emerge.
It is absolutely. That's an amazing project. It's so everything about access also that like 3D and 2D you say like in real life and in digital life, but it's a lot about access. So that's for me the power that we are going to expand more now about NFTs. And does it gives you some ideas? For example, as you said, this project that you are running with this person is going to give you access to special events. And as I always mention, like Gary Vee for me created the best NFTs because they give you access to his pieces of his life. So for you as an artist, because as now one thing that I really love is of course artists now have got a new marketplace, but you cannot have a marketplace of art in digital the same way you had art in physical. So you need, if otherwise you're just using NFTs at 1% of their potentiality, and you are not going to
Totally agree.
monetize it, because some of the most famous artists and people in the world, they didn't sell NFTs, so it's not easy money. And so, did it give you some inspiration to add a layer of accessibility to you? For example, a Photoshop tutorial for anyone that is buy your NFTs, or do you have any other ideas for the long term that you would like to implement for all the people that gives owns a piece of your career, because this is what having your NFTs means.
Mhm.
The gastronomic project that we have now on the local.
Yeah, we're thinking about implementing recipes as well. We still trying to figure out how we're gonna present it perfectly. But since we both love to cook and we experiment a lot in the kitchen, we also want to use that in NFTs. We're still thinking about how this can take shape. But I mean, as we said, anything can be an NFT. So even recipes.
Yeah, exactly. And we see this kind of like a as a reward. Like one of the main problems in this pandemic is that people doesn't know how to survive. They don't know how to cook. They don't know
Yeah.
how to do some simple things that are very like basic.
It's yeah, people were more forced to on themselves.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you can go get a bite here, go get lunch there, But like people were forced to provide themselves with food.
Yeah, they were tested to see if they had this time of isolation and introspection to see and realize that wow, we lacking a lot of skills. Like surviving seems easy when you have a store where you can go every day, but if it's about you and it only depends on your actions, it's harder than it seems.
Yeah.
So we want to bring like some basic knowledge and information that seems to be so basic that people has forgotten about it, and we want to also share it not as an asset that they will trade and they will purchase, but more as a reward for those that belong that cooperate with our community, that
Mhm.
appreciate and help us to scale one-on-one.
Mhm.
I
We want
love
to give
this.
them.
And please teach me too, because now I live alone and it's a mess for cooking basic recipes. So,
Italian.
so please, no, it's very interesting that, of course, this is something for the people that you want to do, and that's how through art you can also be present in the life of the people by cooking. And I don't know, yeah, there are different ideas behind this. So you can make a YouTube channel. You can just you say, okay, you buy my NFT and you've got like 1 hour cooking with me, and I will teach you like in live streaming. And that's very interesting. That's a new project that I heard in this. And what's so I want to go deeper. Like, what kind of recipe? Because we are here. What kind of recipe are very easy that you think you want to share with your community?
Things that which one of the
Well,
main things that people doesn't know, and you know this,
it's making tasty rice.
or pasta,
Yeah.
like how to really understand the properties of the ingredient, respect it, and yeah, really emphasize some basic flavor, how to really know how to work with those simple things that
That will allow you to create a dish. Like it's kind of like the basic that will help you to create other dishes with.
yeah,
For
it's an
example,
starting point.
like I always had like it's bad experiences with rice because my mom used to cook like these plastic bags of rice, like no salt, nothing, just like. And rice is such a diverse ingredient. It might seem boring, but
It can be
there's
so sophisticated depending on how you treat it.
yeah. Since we're together, I really
We
started to
explored a lot
yeah.
with, in terms of gastronomy. We explore a lot with ingredients, new ways of cooking, new ways of preserving the food, and also how you call it when you keep it there for one day to another.
Preserving.
No, but when you enrich it with flavor,
Yeah.
I
I
forgot
don't
the
know
name.
the
Shit.
yeah. Doesn't matter. Just like basic stuff that can elevate. Because it's also the most interesting. It's also the thing that will reach the most people. It's the most like pasta or rice. It seems so simple, but it can really elevate your dish.
Yeah, and it can change someone's life. It's something that insignificant that it can really change someone's dinner, and
Yeah.
that's happiness. We just delivering something that
Food
is
is
small.
happiness.
Food is happiness.
That's amazing, and not just because, of course, you want to do something from from the people around you. I don't know what's your target, maybe in Belgium, especially because every culture has got a different type of food that they eat. So maybe it's better at the beginning just to open to the people they think they've got the same dishes that you can prepare. But except from that, it's very interesting that that's the point, that you are using something that you love except from art. So for example, cooking is something that you love doing together as an added value to NFTs. So in terms of accessibility to your life, that means that if someone was loving your heart because it was very true, very concrete and sincere for the message that you want to share to that, they are now going to know more about your life, and they're going literally to enter in your house, because that's what COVID gave us, right? It gave us, of course, a lot of bad things, but it also gave us the opportunity of entering in people, daily life of people. And so cooking is one thing, but it's just like one, if because you have got so many other passions. For example, I can see behind you that you really love to have plants in your house. So if also if you don't think that you are, but maybe you are more interior designers that as many people think you are, because of course there are a lot of meanings related to the fact of having plants in your house. It's healthy for your eyes, it's healthy for your life, it's very good for an environment in which you have got some nature, especially now that with COVID you need to stay at home, so you are forgetting about nature. And that's, for example, another layer of access to your life. So you start with cooking, then you start in giving small advices of, hey, why don't you buy this plant? You can go on this link, it costs this, it costs that. And that's a way to make your life more accessible to other people. Do you think
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
that's something that came thanks to NFTs, for example, all these ideas?
Yeah. Yeah, to create engagements.
yeah, never better said. I mean, like community, it's only when you enrich someone else's life. That's the only way you really have to get to know someone. When you give, not expecting nothing in return. And we received a lot of support, so we just want to give a bit of our happiness that we share every day to all these people that might be suffering because of isolation or because of a lack of having access to people or interacting with them.
Yeah. Yeah, we both realized that with the pandemic, we moved in together. We knew each other very shortly before, but we were really blessed to be able to spend this time together. It was like a yes or no. We do it. Okay, he moved to another country, to here.
Yeah, because the frontier were closing.
Yeah, the borders were closing, and it worked out really good. But I saw people around me really suffering from
Yeah.
loneliness,
And
actually.
struggling also because of, as we said before, our main project is alimentation because food is happiness.
Yeah, when there was like rows in front of the supermarket, it was crazy.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
That's amazing to see all this happiness from you guys while you are living together in this space. And I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know if it's easy maybe to answer, but what's your advice for especially other couples that are living together and they can be happy as you are now in doing what you do?
It's a
because
difficult one
because
because
I think that you developed some habits and some shared passions. So if you want to share more about this, I will be grateful for this.
well, advice.
Communication.
Yeah, but that's the cliche. Yeah, communication,
But it's that
patience.
cliche that people forget to really, really open up and share their feelings, their thoughts,
Yeah.
fears, insecurities. You know, like
Especially that. Like in the beginning, we had to go through this getting to know each other stage because we knew each other for 2 months, and then suddenly we were 24/7, like seeing each other.
but we started sharing like we started like so don't get us wrong, but we started by sharing the words like why life sucks, and then we
Yeah.
just get better and better.
Yeah, like you build a foundation and then you just go up.
From there it's like everything is good, like because you don't have arguments to complain, so everything becomes, I don't know, like happiness. Like it's so cliche, but once you start once you stop whining and complaining,
Well, sometimes it can be, but it's just
sometimes it's necessary,
Yeah,
but I
sometimes
think
it's
it's all about
necessary
showing
to
the vulnerability of the self.
yeah,
Because we did
definitely.
that a lot in the beginning,
Yeah.
showing like insecurities, traumas, um, issues. life experiences that has changes in some way and that my change is not in the best way, and together we work to find a solution to those things by supporting each other and especially by listening to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So you say that at the beginning you need to pull out all the negativity, all the fears, so that one day you don't have you know each other better,
Yeah.
of course, than
Pretty
before,
much.
Yeah.
and
There
then
is
you
nothing to hold or to hide.
Yeah.
yeah, and then you can use all these fears and negativity to maybe put them inside your heart. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, being an artist, how does impact to your feelings? Do you see in some way art as a way to free yourself of something that is not good in your body and in your mind anymore, and you put it on this heart and you give it to the world?
Kinda, yeah, yeah. Like for me, it's not that spiritual. For me, it's just like the I have the need to be crafty. And well, the digital art is to me is a good fast medium to just produce, because it's not the art piece in itself, but it's more the action that helps me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's the process, the journey, the action of
yeah,
just being there, working not just manually but also creatively with your brain and your heart together.
yeah.
Me personally, I would say, since because my main like study was around psychology when I went to university. So for me, it's a way of kind of like dropping things that worries myself, things that are happening, and allows me to just release all these that if I don't express in some way might become I don't know, some type of anxiety or stress, or not depression but sadness.
Mm-hmm.
And about psychology, what's the feeling of the masses in this moment that you perceive? What's going very well in this moment in the mind of the people, and what's not going so well in the mind of the people nowadays?
In terms of how they perceive now all these thing of NFT cryptocurrencies, or more like
In general.
in general.
I think that in general it could be great, but it could be greater if you've got some, especially maybe advice for the mind of the people in these NFTs and crypto space, because I don't want people to go up and down as Bitcoin does. So if you see something in this space, it will be interesting.
I would say that in a psychological way, the main thing around those times is understanding that greediness can become dangerous.
Hmm.
You have this previous stage before the bull run where people was making crazy amounts of money in the NFT field, and you get hooked by that, and you think that you're gonna become rich from one day to another,
Yeah.
and then you have to face the real deal, which is nobody knows you.
Yeah, nobody knows you, and nobody's waiting for you. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like you have to well find the courage to own your place, to have your
Yeah.
spot.
You have to deserve it, so you have to work for it. You
Yeah,
have to be ready for rejection. You have to be ready for having empty hands, for losing money, not losing, but you have to invest time, resources, and you have to be really, really ready to do that mentally.
that's why not only the creation is important, but the interaction with the community on the different social medias.
Yeah,
People really underestimate, but it's really, really, really important to. It's like a full-time job, actually.
it is. It is. And in the psychological field, like being, you cannot be yourself always, so you have to change. You have to understand that things will never be what they used to be before. Things are going to be probably better. I think they are getting better. Personally, I feel better every day.
Yeah, with the massive adoption of NFTs and cryptocurrencies in general, I think for our generation there is something very exciting that's awaiting us.
It's a great opportunity.
Like for example, back in the day, our parents or grandparents, they could just start a company and earn money. But now in this day and age, I don't know how it is where you live, but
The Ponzi
starting
scam, the Ponzi
yeah,
system.
like starting a company is almost impossible. I mean, so NFT and cryptocurrencies are, I think, for our generation a new door, a new opportunity where we have to jump on.
But mentally, you have to be ready for all these obstacles
Yeah.
to not give up. As NFTs and cryptocurrencies or anything you do in life is going to require always the same
Mm-hmm.
discipline, consistency, and dedication, passion. If you don't love what you do, you're going to hate it. You're going to feel frustration. You're going to feel anxiety because you're going to start just to idealize how you want things to be, and you're just going to be constantly clash, and colliding with reality, which is so disappointing. So you have to mentally be strong and emotionally be able to handle all those negative feelings that it's not the world putting it on you. It's you on yourself.
You're giving a message to me, right?
No, it's to ourselves. It's to ourselves.
I
But it is
totally, yeah, I
exactly
totally
really
agree with
smart.
you, and it's interesting because you're talking about emotions and finance and cryptos and NFTs. Is coming up to my mind a question. It is the rule number one of investing is forget about your emotions. So
Definitely.
you need to care about what really has got value in the long term. But maybe the rule number one in art, I don't know, there are no rules, of course, but when you buy a piece of art, is that you feel something from that piece of art. So you feel the artist's story, you feel that piece of art really brings you something in your emotions. So how can you balance this emotion with NFTs, because they are both financial assets, so in which you don't have two emotions, but they are also an art asset, as we can say. So, what? How can I invest in NFTs? Do you need to be emotionless, or do I need to have emotions?
That's a good question. It's a bit tricky, but this is a good question. Because personally, we sometimes collect pieces, but we don't collect as an asset, like thinking that okay, this will gain this valuation, revaluation in the future. It's more for us. Is first of all, we like to give back what we receive from the community, so we support all the artists so they can scale their business.
Emerging artists.
Exactly, we support them.
Yeah.
And after, well, as we always agree, is it has to be, as you said, art that evokes some emotions. So for us, as long as it makes us feel good with the
Or sad.
or sad, well, as long
Emotions.
as it makes us feel something that pleases, it's more than enough because we don't think about the long term profit on that. Uh, an NFT piece for us is more cooperating, being part of the movement, supporting community, helping the culture to grow, and at the same time, just appreciating art for what it is. Art is art. We cannot be the whole time conceptualizing things and connecting them with profit and money. Money is not everything, even if they say that it can buy everything. It's important, but art is just an abstract and self-suggestive representation of the self. So quantifying that as a valuable asset, it's hard. So personally, we just collect art that make us feel something.
Yeah. Basically.
I agree. Yeah, yeah, totally. I agree. Thanks for this answer. It wasn't tricky. Um, wow. I think that we've got some advice for today about how to move yourself in the art and NFT market. But I think that there is one last advice, because you really care about other artists and other people. So you say that you are supporting other artists. How are you buying their NFTs or in other ways?
Well, yeah, sharing, liking, which already goes a long way because, especially on Instagram, there's a lot of people just ghosting you, seeing but not
Yeah.
interacting with you. And already doing something like that, interaction, it gives the artist already a notion of my art is appreciated. What I put out there is appreciated because it's a piece of yourself that you put out there. And oh yeah, by sharing and liking, and also yeah, like from time to time we also invest in a piece. We're also starting artists,
And
so
collaborating with other projects,
collaborating as
which is
well.
very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, as you said, like we try to help in every possible way inside of our possibilities
yeah. What
because
we can do.
we are not rich. We do what we can, and when we can do it, we do the best, and we try to reach as many people as we can. But we just try to bring a bit higher the volume of their voice so they can be heard for more people. We just it sounds so insignificant, but we try to help with the visibility through supporting through our channels, through
Yeah.
our chat groups, through our communities. It's all about cooperation. NFT has proved that, like, if you really want to be on the game for the long time, you better start to think in teamwork.
Yes, teamwork.
That's amazing, of course. And now we've got more tools to connect each other. These are tools that needs to be used in the proper way. So, like sharing love, compassion, gratitude, and all the others characteristics and emotion that can grow better an artist, because now you have got all these possibilities. So don't be passive when you are on this Instagram, Twitter, Discord, but stop for a second in showing and sharing something for that artist, because one day that can be made to you. And that's
Yes.
how it works, this collective world in which we support each other all together and we grow faster and better all together.
Yeah, we all in the same place. We all in the same path. We walk in different rhythms, but we all there. So we all understand the struggle,
Yeah, especially the struggle of being an artist and
and a
having
beginner as well.
having exposure, and just the possibility of people seeing your work. That's already so like that goes a long way already.
Yeah, a commentary, a like, a share. It's something. It just take 2 seconds, literally, but it can help a lot someone else.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can really. It does, like, personal experience. Um, I used to interact. Well, I interact with a lot with a guy called Sigo and Twitter, and thanks to him, he just one day decided to share one of our pieces, and that day we found a collector because of that small action.
Yeah.
That's
So you never know
yeah.
what your action can bring.
Yeah.
That's because I also like share 10, 20 stories every day, and because those stories, they are not of my stuff, like they are from other artists and other people, because I don't think my public profile as just mine. It's it's more valuable if I can use it also as a platform inside a platform itself, that is a social media, to not just showing my passions and my interests through other people's works, but also to create this collective profile. So that's very important, like for me to never forget that I wouldn't be the host of the NFT podcast without other people, because yeah, I cannot do like a podcast alone. I can do maybe a vlog alone or something else, but that's so
Yeah.
important for me to connecting with other artists, not just artists, of course, but whoever is in the NFT space, or whoever is sharing positivity or something helpful for me in this planet. Because I think that we basically say all the same things, but we just say them in different ways. So it's just,
Yeah,
of course, a way of increase this level of communication and sharing between us.
yeah. Appreciation is one of the missing components of our society nowadays. That's why communities are just crumbling. And now it's the right chance to redo things in the right way. We
It's
all
built.
small components of a huge puzzle, and we work better when we are together. Even if it sounds so topically cliche and as a typic, this is true. I was always a very, like a lonely wolf, doing things on my own, working on teamwork when it was only required. And since I've been more interacting with all the artists, I can tell, personally my life feels better. I learn a lot. Like, for example, now we interacting with you, and we we don't know what we gain. We don't even care about that, because we are aware that the interaction is more than enough. I mean, this conversation is really enrichment for us.
Yeah.
It's really enriching. Like, we having fun. It's pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to be connecting with other people that has a similar mindset than you, a vision of the world, and the conversation and the narrative of that moment goes together hand by hand. There
Thank
is no
you.
awkward situations.
Yeah, thank you, absolutely. It was really nice to have you here, guys, today. I hope I can see you soon And in the meantime, wish you all the best for what are you doing, for your cooking and interior design inside with heart. Can't wait to see it because I need to learn too. Otherwise, I'm going to die soon here. So please, please, please save me. And
We happy and honored to be here.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you. Really.
we want to say thank you. It really, really means a lot for us. We think that we are in the right path by interacting with more and more people, and this is definitely one of those experiences that proves that
Yeah.
that we are doing the right things
Yeah.
and in the right way. So thank you.
Thank you.
thanks so much. I really appreciate this.